Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another mini review, and today we are talking about Aelderman. And the reason that this is a mini review is because this is a heavy game. This is probably the heaviest game that I've had this side of Feudum. There's a lot going on, and if I start down the rabbit hole of trying to show you stuff, that means I'm going to have to show you this, and I just don't have a 40-minute video in me here. But what this game is this is a game where you are all competing to become the next Aelderman, which seems kind of like a woohoo, I'm an Aelderman. Now, this is a game from Europe, and so I'm assuming Aelderman kind of has a more impressive vibe than it does here in America. But you're competing to be the Aelderman. You're going to do that by sailing your ship around to different cities and doing all kinds of stuff. Mostly, that stuff is going to consist of you picking up different goods at the different markets and putting out your influence. Is kind of the core of the things that you're going to be doing. But the way that you're going to be doing that is with this, what I think is rather interesting action selection system, where each round you're going to have between 2 and 5 action points that you can spend. And sailing is free. You can go you can go from one port to the next for nothing. But at that port you have to spend at least one of your action points. And each space has multiple columns that'll cost 1, 2, or 3 action points. And those action points might be put influence out, which is going to help you get points at the end of the game because there's a little bit of area control going on. Or it might be use your action points to get goods from the market, because you very rarely have to actually buy goods. You just use your action points and you get them. And when you do that, you have this pretty cool wheel on your board that will slowly be rotating, and based off which region of the board you are in, their color coding is going to give you access to different goods. And then, if you spend 1, 2, or 3 action points, it'll change up what it is that you're getting. Or maybe you're going to go to a place that's going to allow you to upgrade goods or degrade goods. So you might be able to take one good and move it up to the next rarity level. Or maybe you take a really, really upper crust good and you're going to break it down to a whole bunch of really low-level goods. So you're kind of changing things around that way. And you're moving around, you're getting these things to do basically 2 things. You're either going to be doing a trade action, which is you're going to go to a port and you're going to trade in a bunch of stuff that they want, and you're going to get coin and influence and all of these kinds of things. Or you're going to go to a place that where you have your own kind of chapter house or whatever, and then you can do a city action, which is going to allow you to buy land. Yeah, you got to buy the land before you can build on it, and then build buildings on it. Every different building, there's a whole bunch of different buildings, is going to give you a different bonus and have a different upkeep cost. You're going to have to pay every round to have buildings, but you're also going to get some kind of benefit, which may be passive income every round, or a power you can use, or whatever. And these buildings are also going to lead towards in-game bonus points. Or you might be doing a feast, and a feast action basically is just going to get you a whole bunch of influence for the most part. And then the only other thing that I want to highlight here is all of the different cities out there can change what they do, because all of the action spaces are based on these cards that you're putting out on the board. And there are various things that are going to happen by putting influence out or other things, where every so often the card will wipe away and now that city will have new actions completely and have new goods that they're trying to get completely. So it kind of keeps the game kind of moving as far as that goes. And you're going to play through each round. Each round's going to consist of 5 different sets of action points you get. So you might get 2 action points and then 3, 3, 4, 5. Whatever, or maybe it's 5, 2, 3, 4, 3, whatever. But as you do that, you're going to go through that 5 different times, and then at the end, whoever has the most votes is going to win. In between each round, though, there is this auction where you can also spend your influence to buy different cards. And these might just be straight up votes, which are votes to be the Aelderman at the end of the game. They might be goods, they might be various kind of set collection things you need for votes at the end of the game, or they may be various upgrades that you're able to get. And I should also mention there is a way to buy other upgrades and fulfill these other contracts that are out there as you're playing. As I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm worried just as I listen to myself that perhaps I'm starting to lose the plot here. There's a lot going on. So what do I like about this game? First off, I really like the rotating market wheel. And the way that you're getting these goods, you're not buying them per se. You can, but it's not very efficient. But you're using your action points. And so you're trying to move yourself around the board to get to the spots you need to be to get the specific goods that you want based on how the wheel is turned. Or maybe you're going to try to go somewhere else that will allow you just to turn the wheel. And it's very, very clever the way that works. Along with that, there is a very tight economy of goods. It takes a lot of goods to build a building. You need to build buildings so you can get that area control, so you can get the powers. But it's also very hard to get certain goods because the wheel's rotating and you might need to go across the map to be able to get somewhere in order to get that type of good. So the economy is very, very tight, which really means you have to stop and think about what you're doing and where you're going. And I think it works really, really well, and it's very, very satisfying. I also really like the action point system. I love that you don't have to buy goods, because you just go and like, I'm using my action points, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go here, I have 3 action points this round, I'm going to use all 3 and do this thing. Or I'm going to use one here, one here, one here as I'm moving across the map, trying to get somewhere, trying to do something else. I think it's great. I love, love, love the way that works. I also like the way that the buildings work. I like all the powers that come with it. I like the kind of the upkeep and the bonuses and all that you get. And something about the fact that you have to buy the land to then build on it, and that price changes every round. It just tickles me. It just feels like the most Euro of Euro thing in the world. And I made this joke a while ago. It just feels like the most German thing. It's like, well, yeah, we are going to charge you for some buildings, but not only that, we are going to charge you for the land. Yeah, and it just... Sorry, Germans everywhere, but I love it. I love that that is a thing. It is maddening while you play in the very best way. I also really like the way you're using the influence. Influence goes out onto the board. Yes, you need influence out there to, win the game and get the area control points, but you're also using those influence cubes to buy cards at the end of each round, and those cards are huge. And the choices you're making is doing this kind of this blind bid. Everyone's holding out the influence they're going to use, flipping up. It's amazing. And every round there are 2 auctions, so you have to really parcel out how you're using that influence as well. It's just fantastic. And then you add on to that, that's also helping determine turn order. It's just really, really clever. Which brings me to the last thing that I really think works well. Actually, the second last thing. First thing I'm going to say is, again, Aelderman. I love that we're doing all this work to be an Aelderman. I love that. It's ridiculous. But I also have to say that this game is unique to me. I have never played a Euro game like this. Yeah, done. I'm going to leave it like that. I've never played one like it, and I'm here for it. So what are my quibbles with the game? The first one is, it really is a heavy game, guys. I mean, it is so much to figure out, and every single turn, things are changing. Every game, things are different because of the way the cards are going out there. It is not an easy game to learn. You kind of have to play half a full game before you're like, oh, I kind of get this. This is after you've read the rulebook and after maybe you've watched a video. It's not easy to learn. And at the same time, it's easy to screw up. You can very easily be like, oh, I needed one more of this. How do I get those? I got to go all the way back across the map. So it's very, very easy to do that. And so you can often find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, I need to rewind. But it's also very hard to rewind because you're rotating the wheel, you're changing out cards. It's not an easy game to rewind, and it's easy to mess up. And that can lead into serious AP. The choices are hard. I'm a pretty quick player. And I find there's times where I'm like, okay, I'm sorry guys, I just need a moment to try to figure this out. You really have to be engaged with looking at the board and figuring out what it is you think you want to do before it comes back to your turn, because it's just not easy. There's a lot of potential for AP in this game. The last thing I'm going to say is, the game's really dry. To be honest, if the game didn't take place mostly on the ocean, the box would probably set on fire. It's dry. It's dry, it's economic, it is crunchy, but I like it. It's really fun, but it's going to take a real commitment to get to the point where you're like, yes, this is fun, now we're cooking with gas. So there you have it, folks. That is Aelderman. I think for those of you that are looking for kind of that old school feeling, heavier Euro with a lot of crunch, an interesting economy, interesting action point usage, some area control in there, and just really a game that is pretty darn unique, then this is one to check out. Definitely get the deluxe version, by the way, because it's got cool bits in there. But all in all, this is a game that is definitely not for everyone. But for the people it is for, you're really, really going to enjoy it. So there you have it, folks. That is Aelderman. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.